what's up? It's your girl Sharee. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to share with you guys how to easily trim your hair at home. So as you guys can see, my hair is at that stage where it's in much need of a trim. So if you guys want to see how I am going to cut my hair today, then keep on watching. Alright, so before we get started, I'm just going to show you guys what my hair looks like from the back. So that's the length of my hair at the back. And I kind of just want to give my hair like a nice clean trim. I'm not going to take off too much length. I still want to keep it as long as it is, but just kind of get rid of some straggly ends here. So I'm just going to show you guys how to do that and how to make it like straight at the back without that point or that curve going at the back. So first things first, you can do this with your hair wet, but for this video, I'm going to do it dry just so I can see how everything is going to be laying at its natural state. Before we get started, I'm going to just mention some of the tools that you will need to cut your own hair. So first and foremost, you're going to need a pair of hair cutting shears, strictly hair cutting shears. If you are going to be doing your own haircuts, it's highly recommended that you buy a pair of hair cutting shears. You don't want to use kitchen scissors, sewing scissors, craft scissors, because those scissors are meant for that. It's meant for the kitchen, it's meant for crafting, it's meant for sewing. Hair shears are meant just for hair, so you want to stick to scissors or shears that are meant for that specific thing because you don't want to damage your hair. So if you are interested in a pair of shears, I'll post the link of the shears that I got from Amazon in my description box down below. The next thing that you will need also is some thinning shears. You can buy them separately or it can come in a set. Again, I'll have some options down below in my description. You're gonna need some clips, a comb, and I got some hair ties. Also, you might need a handheld mirror just so you can see the back of your hair. Okay, so the way I'm gonna be doing this haircut is not the traditional way that I would normally cut somebody's hair, but since I'm doing this on myself, I'm trying to show somewhat of an easy way of doing it on your own hair. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my hair and I'm gonna section it like this and just clip the rest of the hair up and away. So let me just turn around for you guys so you can see what it looks like. You want the section to be like that. If your hair is thicker, you might want to take thinner sections, but my hair is pretty fine, so I don't need that much hair down. You know what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to take a little bit more hair down because like I said, my hair is pretty fine. So I'm just going to take probably an inch of section down. Okay, so this is a section that I have that I'm going to be working with. Again, thicker hair, just take smaller sections. So the point of having just half of this hair down is this is going to be the guide that I'm going to be using to do kind of like the straight cut. Normally, like what I did last time is I did like the two pigtails on the sides, and by doing that you are over directing the hair to the front, and then when you bring it back to the hair to the back, you're going to have like that triangle. So I want my hair to be straight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hair and I'm going to put it in a very, very low, tight ponytail as close to the nape as possible. I'm going to keep it nice and flat. You don't want any elevation like that, because if you do that, if you actually make a ponytail like that and then you cut it, you're not going to have an even haircut. You're going to have some layers, and I don't want layers with this haircut. So you want to keep the ponytail as flat and as straight to the nape as possible. Make sure that it's super flat as can be. And then you take your hair tie and then just tie it as flat and as close to the neck as possible. So like that. And then I'm gonna add another hair tie in the middle and then one more at the end. The first hair tie is just to keep everything in place so that it's nice and tight towards your neck. And then the second hair tie I'm gonna put is just to keep all the hair as close together as possible. It just kind of secures it a little bit better. Got two And then the last hair tie I'm gonna put is gonna be it's gonna be used as kind of the guide as to where I'm going to be cutting my hair. I'm gonna put one more hair tie here. And then I don't want my hair to be too short, so I'm just gonna look at the length of the back. So I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit because I just probably want to cut off ½ inch just to clean the ends off. So I'm gonna bring that hair tie a little bit down. Okay, so it should look like this, and then this is where my bottom hair tie is, and I'm gonna cut right underneath that hair tie. I'm gonna take my shears, and I'm gonna cut right underneath that ponytail. So let me try to angle you guys here so you guys can see. Excuse the mess in the background there. So I'm just gonna take this, I'm gonna cut it right underneath that hair tie. And that can go straight to the trash. And I'm just gonna remove that. And I can go ahead and remove all the hair ties, because then that would be the guide. And already by taking off that length, I feel like my hair feels a lot thicker, just because I got rid of those like really thin, gross dead ends. So now your hair is going to be quite uneven. So that's what the back looks like. It's not as bad. We have just a little bit of length here, but we're going to cut that. So you can see it's a little bit straight, but it kind of curves opposite. So it's like an opposite U shape, like a rainbow shape. Instead of the shape going this way, it's going that way. And that's what we want, because in order to create that straight shape in the back, we want it to be in an angle. You want it to be angled this way. You see how that is? You want it to be angled that way instead of straight, because when you cut your hair straight from the front and you bring it to the back, it's going to have that V shape. But if you cut it at the front in a diagonal down position, it's going to be straight at the back. So now that I got that guide, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. So I'm going to split my hair down the middle and bring that forward. And then I'm just going to comb it like this, and then I'm going to take my fingers in there, actually, and then I'm going to glide my fingers down to that shape where I want to cut it. So now that I have that shape, I have like the short guide there. It might be better that I wet it so that I can see it. So I'm actually going to spray my hair. I was going to do this dry, but I'm going to spray it down a little bit so that I can see the guide much better. Okay, so I'll split it down, and I'll do this side. I'm just gonna spray the ends, and I'm gonna comb that down. And then, as you guys can see, you can see there from my shirt, you can see how it goes down, but I'm gonna clean the line up by making it a little bit more straight. And when I mean straight, not straight across, but straight this way. So as you can see, if I do that again, combing it straight down, you can see that the ends are not straight. So I'm just going to clean it up a little bit. So I'm going to just take that, lightly cut that edge. So now it's a little bit more crisp. See, it's a lot more crisp. And then I'm gonna just match it up to the other side. So when you bring it forward to the front, it's supposed to be a little bit shorter and longer at the front. That's just how it naturally is if you want your hair to be straight at the back. Spray this side, and I'm gonna do the same thing in the opposite direction. So I'm gonna find the guide, angle my fingers, gonna cut. You want to make sure that both sides are fairly even. By doing that, you just take your fingers like this and then bring it down to make sure that they both seem very symmetrical. And if something's a little bit off, then you can just go back in and cut that. So before you bring down any other hair, you want to make sure that everything in this guide is the way you want it. Just kind of point cut it. Be careful not to snip your fingers. And then take that to the back to see what it looks like. You can see it is pretty straight. So now I'm just gonna take down the next section of hair. Okay, so I'm gonna take the next section down, and with the next section, I'll take a little bit of hair from the front side here just so that we can bring it together and get the length at the front. So I'm just gonna take a section like this and bring that across the back. Okay, and then clip the rest of the hair. So I just wanna start with smaller sections, like thin sections, just so I can see it through the back. And I'm just basically going to bring everything forward here because we have the guide, and I basically didn't even take that much hair down, which is fine. So I'm gonna spray the ends. Now that the hair is at the front here, you can cut it straight as opposed to angle. So we only do that angle positioning to the hair from the back. And then once we get to the sides here, we can just cut it straight. So let me take some of the section that I got from the back, and then I'm going to cut that into that guide, but I will point cut it. Now once I did the back section, I'm just gonna flick that to the back, and then I'm gonna just match up the length of the front to these pieces here. So I'm just bringing it down, finding that guide, and I'm just gonna cut that straight. And then I'm just gonna continue the same thing on this side here. My hair feels so much better already. Again, my hair is fine, so I don't need as much sections. I'm probably gonna do 2 more sections and I'm done this haircut. So I'm just gonna do one more like this, kind of like a halo horseshoe shape around the head. Then split that down the middle, the back. So I just split it down the middle like this. And as you can see, I don't have that much hair to cut because I have more layers on the top, and I just got rid of most of like the dead ends, which is great, and it feels so much better already. But you know, it's the same kind of method if you want to cut off more hair. It's kind of like the same thing. Just start off with that guide with that small ponytail at the back, and then just take small sections each time just to make sure that you get it nice and even. And with doing a haircut like this, it is recommended to cut it wet just so that you can see the guide better. Because when your hair is dry, sometimes if you have thick hair, you won't be able to see the guide when you're parting it like this. So when it's wet and it's nice and like flat and it sticks together, you can see where that guideline is. I'm just gonna spray this down. Again, I will start off with the back section if there is any. When you're doing it, try to make sure your head is straight and not tilted, just so that it's straight. I don't know if I tilted my head earlier. If I did, oops, but you know, my hair seems pretty even. But because the more that you tilt your head, the more length you're gonna have here. So if you want it nice and straight, try to keep your head straight and focused, and then get that parting. So there's that hair there. I'm just gonna bring my fingers down. I'm gonna cut that to that guide. So right now we're just doing like the base cut. After we get all the length off, then I'm gonna go back and do a little bit of point cutting, and if I need to, I'll take my texturizing shears just to texturize the ends a little bit. And that would be the end of this haircut. And before moving forward, it's always important to check how everything looks by just combing it all together. So combing it like this, see if it's nice and straight, and then you can use your mirror to see how that looks. And it looks pretty darn straight to me. So basically I'm just gonna continue on with this, doing the same thing until I have no more hair to bring down. So I just brought down the last layer of my hair, and it seems like I don't really have much to cut because the rest were just layers. I might have a few little straggly pieces that need to just come off, but that should be it. If ever you missed anything, just take your comb, get your fingers and get your hair nice and tight in between the fingers there, and see if there's any little lengths that you forgot to cut off. Done cutting off the length, and I'm so happy I did that. Like, my hair feels so good, feels so much thicker because those dead ends are gone. It's very important to trim your hair at least like every 6 to 8 weeks just to get rid of that dead hair and just to have healthy hair growth. So my hair, it actually feels great the way it is, but if you guys have like medium to thick density of hair, then you want to go back and just texturize it a little bit. So I'll just kind of show you. I don't really need to do much because my ends are pretty fine, but a lot of people who just get a blend cut notice that your ends are very thick and just too like bubbly looking. So what you can do, my neck is so red from scratching, I'll just start off by taking like half section of my hair again. If you find it too thick and too blend, just go back in, take that section of hair, place it in between your fingers like that. Make sure you leave about like an inch of hair so you don't cut your fingers. And then you want to take your shears and just carefully point cut into the ends. Make sure it's nice and straight so that you don't cut like chunky pieces. And then just kind of get right in there. Just like that, and that way your ends will be nice and like feathered looking. And if your hair is even thicker than that, you can go in with some texturizing shears. I don't want to texturize it too much because my hair again is pretty thin, but you can just go in and kind of do the same thing. You can cut into it. I feel like if your hair is like mine, just doing the point cut will be fine, but if you have thicker hair, you can even just take your shears and then get a little section and then just kind of glide through the ends like that. And you want to take your comb and just comb off that hair that you cut off and dust it on the ground. So just play around with your hair the way you like it. Don't go overboard, but make sure that you do it carefully because you don't want any holes in your hair. So when you're doing it, do the other side here. Take your hair in between your two fingers like that, nice and straight. That way you can see the lines, and then carefully go into it. And again, with the thinning shears, you can do that as well. Yeah, it's all about how, like, you guys know your hair texture. But yeah, that just kind of helps debulk the hair at the ends a little bit. Thinning the hair itself is another situation. I can go over that with you in another video if you want to know how to actually thin your hair out properly instead of just taking like your thinning shears and just going ham and cutting straight. You don't want that. Today I just basically showed you another easy way of doing a straight cut. So I'm just going to be playing around a little bit more, just texturizing the ends to make sure it's nice and soft looking, no harsh lines. So that is it for this haircut. It's super easy and it's a good way to not have like that point at the back of your hair. So a lot of people were using the other method that I had with the pigtails and it did work. But a lot of you guys said that there was like a point in the back that you guys didn't like. So this hopefully is another method that can help you have a nice straight cut. So I'm going to show you guys what my hair looks like at the back again. That's the hair, nice and straight, perfect. I mean, it probably would be easier to just have somebody at home cut it straight for you, but if you are a person like me who just wants to do it yourself, this is a method that you can try. Or you can go to a salon, and if you're here in Winnipeg, you can come to me and I can cut your hair for you. That's it for this video, and then I'm going to be doing another haircut on my hair. I'm not going to do it today, but I am going to be doing some bangs or some curtain bangs, as you guys know it, and then I'll probably do some layering on my hair as well, but that will be for another video. So this is all that I have for you guys today. If you guys did try this method, let me know how it goes. Tag me on Instagram, send me some pictures, see what it looks like, and if you think that this method is a lot more better than the pigtail method that I did. Yes, that's it. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, stay positive, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.